GH. Also on DSTV, we're streaming on channel 277. I am Annie Fompo. Let's take a look at stories of headlines coming up. Former CEO of the Public Procurement Authority makes first appearance in court, appealing not guilty to all corruption charges leveled against him. Former Lands and Natural Resources Minister Eunice Ofiseni accuses the current Minister Samuel Abu Jinapor of peddling falsehood in his alleged involvement in the declassification of the Achimota Forest Reserve to the Owu family. We'll give you details of that as well. And President Akufo-Addo commends Executive Chairman of Jospon Group of Companies, complimenting government's efforts in ridding the city of filth and helping to build sustainable cities. Right, you're welcome for the details of this story. Now, the former public procurement boss dragged to court over some procurement breaches to his benefit, Eugene Boateng, has pleaded not guilty to the 15 counts leveled against him in court. He, together with his brother-in-law, Francis Kweku Ahin, have been granted a bail of 5 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties each.
From day one, we have always pleaded our innocence in this matter, and that is exactly why we pleaded not guilty to all the 15 counts that were brought against him. We are happy with the timeline that have been set by the court, because then it means that within a very short time we will to conclude this process. We say we are innocent, and we have the opportunity now to prove to the whole world that we are innocent. Now we are in a proper forum where every allegation will be interrogated, and then the true facts will come out.
I have my firm conviction that we have every evidence to see the accused guilty. This is in respect of the procurement breaches by the former chief executive of the Procurement Authority and his brother-in-law. So that's what we did for today. So his plea, their pleas were taken. They pleaded not guilty to all the counts, and the court has given directions in respect of how the trial will proceed. So we'll be back in a month's time to comply with the court's processes, and then the trial will commence.
Now, the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akuffo-Dampare, has arrived in Nkranza following the disturbances that resulted from the death of 27-year-old Albert Donko, who reportedly died at the hands of the police. The IGP is expected to meet with the bereaved families, the injured victims, and stakeholders. Now, my colleague Ibrahim Abode is there and joins us live on phone to give us updates of that. Abode, thank you for your time. Good afternoon to you. What has Dampare done so far since he arrived?
Yes, when the IGP arrived, he first went to the Nkranza Divisional Police Command, and he met with the police officers present there. Afterwards, he decided that we should move to the first victim of this particular incident, and that has to do with Albert Donko, who was the first person to die in Nkranza here. He decided that they were really going to trot instead of using cars, moving from the divisional police station to Albert Donko family house at A-Line. So the walking went, and then he met with the family for about 1 hour, a little more than 1 hour. He left, and then they had to continue the journey on foot to by Victor's family. So currently we are at the family house of Victor, and he's meeting with the family members. We're met with wailings and then crying from the mother of the deceased, as well as other family members, and then there's large crowds here as we speak. So currently we are at the family house of Victor.
So who and who can you see? The mother, the father, siblings, and who else?
The entire community, it looks like those who are present are almost out. There's large crowd, like I indicated earlier, and then there's indication that some people, from town, really enjoyed the movement of the IGP. They trotted with him and then to this place. So they have added to the number. So it looks like we have huge numbers here. So it's not generally a nuclear family meeting, but it's something that has to do with the entire community.
What difference is Dampare's presence going to make?
I couldn't hear you.
Presence going to make?
Yes, so as we speak, the discussion is ongoing, and there has to be gap between the journalists and then that of the meeting, like it happened in the first family. So as we speak, we are not privy to whatever they are discussing currently,
right.
But we do know that it has to do with whatever transpired and whatever led to that bad incident. So until then, they will meet with the media and then brief us what exact discussion they've with people, with the family.
What's the update with the whereabouts of Albert, whether his body he's alive or dead?
Yes, so like I indicated, they met with Albert's family for more than 1 hour. They have discussed that, but they did not disclose it to the media. Okay. So after this particular one, DSP Kosifori indicated that they will be meeting with the media, and when that meeting comes on, we'll be able to, come out or get to that matter to find out where the body of the late Albert is.
How about the injured, those who are at the hospital receiving treatment? Have they been released, actually taken back homes, or what's happening with them?
Yes, some are still there, and I'm very sure that after that is where we'll be heading to. We have really walked for about half a mile now, and then the journey will continue to that place. We'll also be meeting with other stakeholders like the traditional authorities and many other places. So today is a busy day for the police service and that of Nkranza.
So how many have been discharged and how many left at the hospital?
Well, 5 people were still there. 1 person was sent to Wenchi Hospital for orthopedic services. So they are those who are still there. The first people that were discharged are those who, the first 2 people that were discharged, later on another person was discharged. So these are the people that are free, or these are people who have been freed by the hospital, but the rest are still there, and 1 person is sent to Wenchi Hospital for orthopedic services.
Right. Thank you so much for your time, Abode, for that. Follow up with the police and let's know what they say after that close meeting with the family. That is Ibrahim Abode in Nkranza. We're getting the updates that the IGP Dampare and his team have arrived in the area and are meeting the family, but that is in camera, so the media does not have access to it. We'll give you the details after this meeting is held. Now, the Central Regional Police Command on Tuesday visited the family of the late Nanama Clark, a level 300 student of Cape Coast Technical University who was gruesomely murdered with her private parts removed. Now, the Regional Commander, CCOP Alexander Amenyo, consoled the family and also gave the assurance that the police is working hard in their investigation to arrest and bring the perpetrators to book. He also appealed to the general public to assist the police with credible information on this matter.
This morning, the regional command thought of, looking at our vision and mission, we need to do more. It is not only investigating, but we need to console the victims' family. They hail from Takoradi. So this morning, myself and some of my lieutenants, including the PRO and the staff officer, went to the Western region in the capital, Takoradi. We were able to get to the house in the company of the Western Regional Police Commander, DCOP, Mr. Ajima. He accompanied us with other officers and we went to the house. Actually, we went to console the family and the couple, the parents of the victim and the relatives who were gathered. We discussed a lot of things and we gave them the assurance what we are doing so far and assure them that we will get to it because it was something that nobody thought of, and we didn't know what actually happened. But I believe that we will unearth and unravel the mystery.
Now let's do other stories from the Achimota Forest Reserve controversy. Former President John Mahama and the former Lands and Natural Resources Minister Yusuf Hussaini have been cited in the alleged sale of the Achimota Forest. Now, in a press statement released by the Lands and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abu Jinapor, said the two began the negotiation to cede portions of the forest to the Owu family. Here are some excerpts of the release as given by the Lands Ministry, and it says that on the 20th of March 2013, the family again petitioned the then President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for the release of portions of the land. Now, in a same statement on point 17, it says, desirous of converting the forest reserve into an eco park, a concept which was received sometime in 2011, the then Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Alhaji Yusuf Hussaini, constituted a strategic development committee chaired by the Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Barbara Sewa Asamoah, to develop a strategy and roadmap for executing the eco park project. 18 says that the committee, as part of its work, considered the report of the 2011 Special Committee and agreed with all the recommendations of the committee. Now, the committee also recommended that the request of the family should be expedited for the smooth takeoff of the Eco Park project. Following the submission of the reports of the Strategic Development Committee to Honorable Hussaini, the minister on the 20th of August 2013 wrote to the then President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, for executive approval to implement the recommendations of the committee. And that point 20 said that on the 5th of September 2013, former President John Dramani Mahama granted an executive approval for the development of the Eco Park and the release of the land to the Owu family in accordance with the recommendations of the committee. 21. On the 12th of September 2013, Honorable Hussaini granted approval to the Forestry Commission to implement the recommendations on the release of the peripheral portions of the land measuring 118.23, that's 023 acres to the family in accordance with the executive approval. And the point 25, by the said 2014 deed of variation, the Forestry Commission granted the Owu family another 50.09 acres, bringing the total agreed granted to the family to 198.501 acres. And 26 says that by the letter, or by a letter dated 4th April 2014, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Alhaji Yusuf Hussaini, and MP wrote to the Lands Commission to amend its records to reflect the grants made to the Owu family. And those are some of the excerpts. Some of the excerpts captured, by the Lands Ministry. But this former minister has joined us on phone, Alhaji Yusuf Hussaini, former minister, to tell us more on their disagreement to the release of the Lands Minister's, take on the Achimota Forest. Honorable, thank you for your time. You're welcome to Newsbeat. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, and I hope you're doing well as well.
I'm good.
If you so disagree with the release by the Lands Minister, Abu Jinapor, what exactly is the fact you want to put across then?
Well, I just want to say that the grant of the 118 acres of land was pursuant to an approval, executive approval granted me or the ministry by His Excellency the President, former President Mahama. And that was when we ordered them to release to the Owu family.
So how different is that from what was captured by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources?
What the ministry and that is the essence of my rejoinder, what the minister sought to say was that the subsequent variations to the grant, which came before by letter of 4th April, were grants that had tacit approval from me, in quote, tacit in quote. And I'm saying that no, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, acting by the executive approval, granted 118 acres to the Owu family.
So,
I'm not aware of any subsequent grant or any variation of the lease which resulted in 198. And I'm unconnected. I am unconnected with any subsequent increase in the area of the forest granted the Owu family.
Honorable, in your period of Lands Minister, how many petitions did you handle as far as the Owu family is concerned?
All petitions to the Owu family came before I went to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources.
Oh, the petitions actually came before you went to that ministry?
Before I went to that ministry. The report of the executive committee was established before I went to the ministry.
But it was handed over to you?
Yeah, so because of the manifesto of the NDC, which said the Achimota Forest should be turned into an ecotourism facility, I was mandated, I was charged with the responsibility of converting Achimota Forest into an eco-park facility. That resulted in the establishment of the Strategic Development Committee headed by my able deputy, Barbara Sewa Asamoah.
Right, and what happened afterwards? How far were you able to go as far as, the Eco Park was concerned?
Well, so when the 118 was granted there, we took steps to delimit the area that constituted the 118, and then left the rest of the Achimota Forest and tasked the Forestry Commission to get a developer who could develop the forest into an ecotourism facility. That was the stage at which I left the ministry.
So I have a document that its cover reads, Forestry Commission requests for proposals, selection of consulting services for development of Achimota Forest into ecotourism park in Ghana under public-private partnership agreement. The client, Forestry Commission, country, Republic of Ghana, project development of Achimota Forest into Eco Park, issued on October 2014. Is this the document we're talking about?
Well, so that was after I left the ministry. So we had started the process and I left the ministry in June 2014.
Oh, I see. So all other activities leading to the Eco Park development was after you had left?
After I had left the ministry, yeah.
Honorable, how do we go forward with this? Because it's almost looking like it's now turning into a debate between the previous administration and the current one.
So for me, because of my shock in realizing that the amount of 118 acres that was granted the ministry by executive authority of the president to release the Owu family had been increased, I will support any investigation into ascertaining how that came about, because I don't know how that came about. Because you cannot vary what the president has said he should do, which was done by executive instrument. Article 58 of the Constitution vests executive authority in the president, and no one can vary that one. If the president directs that a thing be done in a certain way, if you face difficulties, you have to go back to the president to vary that directive. But you cannot vary it yourself. So I want to understand the basis upon which more than 118 acres was given to them.
Yeah, that is seeming a common call for almost everyone. In which form do you think this investigation should go? In public?
Well, they should establish a commission of inquiry under the Constitution where they can look into it. Because if you vary the orders of the president without capacity to do so, then you are actually getting yourself into trouble, not so.
Right, Honorable, we'll leave it here and we'll get back to you. We know that the ministry is preparing to form the committee of inquiry, so we'll get into it later on. The former member of parliament for Tamale North constituency, and also he was also a former minister of lands and natural resources there, giving us some explanation. So we're following up and bring you all the necessary updates that are coming up as far as Achimota Forest is concerned. Now, we're joined via Zoom by Daryl Bonsu. He is the Deputy National Director of Rocha Ghana, one of the 14 TSOs who have petitioned SHRAJ to look into the degazetting and purported sale of portions of the Achimota Forest. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to Newsbeat.
Good afternoon as well, and thank you for having me.
Okay, if you can increase your volume a bit, I can hardly hear you, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. What you know, directed you to SHRAJ? Why did you not, as other organizations are doing, calling for committees of inquiries and all that? Why did you have to go to SHRAJ?
Yes, thank you very much. I was following your discussion right now with the former Minister of Lands, Honorable Yusuf Hussaini, and
Right.
I think there is quite a lot of inconsistent information out there. And also we get in a sense that there are too many actors within this particular evolving issue. And so we are saying that particularly in respect of the lands at Achimota Forest, and also on the fact that we have seen some culpability of some state and public officers involved in also getting portions of the land. I mean, I'm talking based on the fact of the information that we got to know from the late Sir John's will. And we believe that there are more issues than the public has been made to know. And when you look at all of these issues, a lot of it revolves around conflict of interest, where public officers are using their position to appropriate state property and state assets. And we think that is an issue of concern and that should be interrogated. And we are choosing to go to SHRAJ because, as you know, they are the only institution cloaked with the legal powers or jurisdiction to look at issues of conflict of interest involving public officers. And that is how come we believe that even though there has been calls for a commission of inquiry, there has also been some indications of audits being requested, the issue of conflict of interest involving public officers. And in this case, our interest is not only in respect of the Achimota Forest, but also in respect of Sakumono Ramsar site. And we believe that there is more that this commissioner can tell us.
The details of the Ramsar site indeed is also shocking. There's been other sites that's supposed to be reserves that have been mentioned by some political actors, you know, who sound peeved for not being a part of beneficiaries. It just, you know, seeks to bring out to bear that there is so much rot within these reserves, and so it's widespread even beyond Achimota Forest. Is your organization, Rocha Ghana, going to, you know, look into all that or spread your wings across so it's a holistic approach?
Yes, I think it's a very good question. And the issue is that there's clear indication that all across the country, our forest reserves and protected areas are under siege by some interest from private developers and also other public officers, sometimes posing as private companies and all of that. But in this case, we don't want to digress so much from the issue at hand. We have been calling as a coalition, we've been calling for the revocation of EI 144. And if it takes getting to the bottom of this to know who has interest in that particular area, their role and their office and the interest they have, that is what we are going to do. And I think we want to start with the Achimota Forest, and then from there we'll go on to the Sakumono. And we believe that knowing these issues will cause for a more broader national discourse on looking at interests that our public agencies and some state officials have started expressing in a lot of the protected areas and green belts across the country.
Right. How long do you think this might take?
Well, I think as to how long, this is not within our remit to determine. It all depends on Shraj when they respond to our request. So, and we are going to work with Shraj on their timelines as they indicate. But
All right.
definitely, this is of public interest, so we believe that it will be expedient.
We hope so too. Dario Bonsu, he's a director of Rocha Ghana. Thank you for speaking with us here on Newsbeat. We'll do some more as we extend on the land encroaching issues hitting the country. Now, you're still watching Newsbeat here on Metro TV. We'll go for a breather. We'll be back with more. You're welcome back to Newsbeat. Now, the maiden meeting of Parliament's Privileges Committee to prepare to hear the case against 3 members of Parliament halt before them for absenting themselves from the 15 days is slated for today, Wednesday, May 25, 2022. According to the ranking member of the Privileges Committee, Kweku Ricketts-Hagan, the fate of the Ayawaso Central MP Henry Quartey, Dom Kwabenya MP Adrasafo, and Ascent Central MP Kennedy Ejapon will be determined from Thursday, May 26 to Tuesday, May 31, 2022.
Last session of Parliament, Right Honourable Speaker referred 3 of our colleagues, Honourable Kennedy Ejapon, Honourable Adrasafo, and Honourable Henry Quartey, to the Privileges Committee for absenting themselves from Parliament for the statutory 15 days. And we are supposed to investigate them, I mean, if they have any evidence or any tangible reason why they were absent, because the penalty for that is for them to lose their seat if they don't have any credible evidence. So we are planning on starting the maiden meeting for these referrals today. And then we have a timetable of calling them in after today, starting with Honorable Henry Quartey on Thursday the 26th, and then Honorable Adrasafo on the 27th, Friday, and Honorable Kennedy Ejapon on the 31st. The arrangement is so because Honorable Kennedy Ejapon obviously wrote to us to say that he has a medical review in the US and will not be around. So he gave us an indication on when he's likely to come to the country. So basically, based on that, that is why he's the last person.
Now, the new Patriotic Party NPP goes to the polls on May 27 to May 29, 2022 for the conduct of the Regional Annual Delegates Conference for the election of regional executive officers. Our regional correspondent have been following preparations ahead of the elections, and they bring us the latest on the build up to the elections. Let us now cross over to Ashanti region and find out how preparations have gone so far. Abdul Basit is on the line. Abdul, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you. Hello, Abdul. So we're trying to connect with Abdul. Okay, well, Abdul, thank you for joining us. So, what can you tell us from the Ashanti region? It happens to be one of the hottest, regions now as far as the regional elections are concerned.
Yeah, Ashanti region, as you said, is, being the strong goal of the ruling New Patriotic Party, all eyes are on Ashanti region in regards to the regional executive election, because if the party would be able to go forward in breaking the 8, it all will come from Ashanti region. As I speak with you right now, a lot of preparations are going on. All the candidates are very busy going around in their campaign activities. But one problem that came out yesterday was some 4 aspirants who are contesting the current incumbent chairman, who is Bernardine Chibu-Esiako Chamawuntumi, have petitioned the National Executive Council that they've not received the album, the register that they will be using for the elections. And they have even threatened by the close of today, if they've not received the register, they would boycott the election. They are not going to participate in the election because they don't know which of the delegates will be casting their vote. So as I speak with you now, they petitioned the national and are waiting for their responses. But the ground itself, there is nothing going on at the ground right now as I'm speaking. I was told by the Ashanti Regional Election Committee chairman that the ground preparation will start tomorrow, which will be a day before the elections. The tents, the chairs, and everything, the arrangement will start, God willing, tomorrow. But as I speak with you right now, almost all the aspirants are very busy campaigning, moving from one district, one constituency to the other, campaigning for votes within their constituency right now, Annie.
So, Abdul, apart from the complaint that they have not received the register, aren't any other complaints? People or contestants are actually running their campaigns smoothly?
Yes. For the campaign, it's going on smoothly. It was this early morning that one of the chairmanship aspirants, Odenoho Kwekwapia, popularly known as Koka, held a press conference to adore his campaign team and those who will be assisting him his agents and other supporters who would use them for the election. He at the press conference he called on delegates to, as a matter of urgency, try and consider him because he has been a grassroots member and he has served in all his capacity within from constituency, from polling stations and constituencies. So he is calling on the delegates to change the current chairman and consider him to be the chairman of the constituency. All the rest are going around campaigning here and there. There has not been any complaint apart from the register. There's no complaint as I speak with you right now.
Who seems to be in the lead, especially with the chairmanship position? That seemed to be a little controversial.
Yeah, even though there are other positions being contested, but the chairmanship in Ashanti region is the most hottest. All the 5 aspirants are big wigs of the party. We have former MP for Ejoso, Owusu Eduomi. We have Edu Bewa. They are all big wigs within the political party, and the contest is going to be very tough.
Right.
You can't predict who would win the as we speak right now because, with delegates, anything can happen. But until the D-Day, it will be very difficult for you to predict who will win because they all have their strategies as we speak.
Right, Abdul, thank you. Definitely. We'll see you soon in the Ashanti region as well. Now, on Tuesday, government launched a campaign to get Ghanaians to be vigilant and alert the necessary authorities when they suspect any malicious character. Now, some of our viewers put the system to test, and here is a response.
Dial the wrong number. Please.
MTN say wrong number.
Emergency Command Center. How may I help you?
Okay, so I'm a citizen and I was at the launch yesterday, so I'm calling in regards to see if indeed the number that was put on is actually working.
Okay.
But then I want to find out, in case I make any complaint or give an alert, how is the system going to treat it, or how are they going to better still react or respond to the alert that I give?
As soon as you make a complaint, you'll work on it as soon as possible.
Yeah, so if I give the complaint, it will be worked on, but I want to know how, who receives it, and where does it go?
For instance, if you need an ambulance, you lodge a complaint, and maybe if the complaint has to go to the police, you forward everything to the police, and the complaint going to the fire service will go to the fire service, the one going to NATMU go to NATMU, ambulance services. That's how it works.
But with what I got from the program yesterday, it was talking about the security in Ghana. So I'm supposed to give a heads up to any security inconsistency that I might find myself in.
Yeah, in that case, they will go to the police, the national security, and they will work on it as soon as possible.
How would it soon be? Will it be immediately? And how do they get my details?
Everything has been programmed. Your contact, your location, everything.
All right, so that is putting the 999 short code to test by my colleague, and this is exactly the results what we got. So it means that government will probably have to do a lot of work on even the response team behind the short code. So Mutaru Mumuni Mukhtar is Executive Director for West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism. He joins us via Zoom. Mutaru, thank you for your time. Good afternoon. Welcome to News Beat. So what do you think will be the effectiveness of what has been launched, See Something, Say Something, and the short code 999?
Yes, it is good that we're beginning to see government take some measures or some actions against the threat of violent extremism to this country. And the most important aspect of that is the ability of government to institute measures that can mobilize local community support and goodwill to be able to work and partner with the state to deal with the vulnerabilities and the threats relating to violent extremism. We have been calling for a very long time the establishment of a public information system and a dedicated line that makes it possible for the local population to report directly to a dedicated contact and system that's meant for solely violent extremism or terrorism-related crimes. And here we have a system that has been put in place, a number that has just been issued for that purpose. The next step is, how does it function? What is the effectiveness of it?
Right.
We would only be able to test that through our experience in dealing with this particular number. We need men and officers who have high analytical capacity and skills to be able to distinguish between information and intelligence, to be able to ensure immediate coordination and sharing of intelligence information, to be able to ensure what we call immediacy of action to prevent potential attacks from happening or materializing. And so that sense of urgency and capacity to analyze and sieve information is layered. And so your ability to see information in the different layers, to distinguish what requires immediate action and how it's important to preventing potential attacks, from manifesting here. And so that part of it should be focused on to ensure that we have a complete system that deals with the current threats we are looking at.
Right, so how do you think people who are currently going through the challenges we're faced with today will be paying attention to what's happening around them as far as extremism is concerned? These attacks extremism is concerned?
You see, people have for a very long time become very cynical of state interventions or state measures. And so you would see people calling the number, trying to satisfy themselves that it is effective, it is functional. You will see people, some actually even, making prank calls. Those are not helpful.
Okay. Okay, I think I've lost Mutar Mumuni Mutar, who is Executive Director for West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism, addressing how people will be making prank calls and disturbing the whole system. But do not stay away from prank calls. If it's very serious, you want to call them and give them the information. Now, the Executive Chairman for Jospon Group of Companies, Dr. Joseph Siang Ejapong, has called Ghanaians to desist from throwing refuse into river bodies in the country as it derails the investments made into putting an end to the perennial flooding in the city. He made the call at the official commissioning of the IHC Beaver 50 dredger and marine equipment, which would help the group tackle with the help of Ghana's flooding problem.
It is obvious from recent events that more needs to be done to deal with the situation permanently. And as has been rightly stated by the hard-working Minister for Works and Housing, the Honorable Francis Asenso-Boakye, Member of Parliament for Bantama, in his address of today, government will continue to work towards the day when Ghanaians, especially those in Accra, will live in calm and tranquility through the rainy season. Metropolitan, municipal, and district chief assemblies have been charged to ensure that obstructions to the free flow of water, as well as developments along waterways, are removed immediately. MMDAs are also to ensure the strict adherence of developers to the planning laws of our country and sanction staff who have issued permits for structures to be built on waterways to serve as a deterrent to others who seek to engage in such acts.
Bedmaster Limited is introducing this ultramodern IHC built Tata Session dredger and this associate marine equipment to bring this capability of dredging, which is able to dredge about 16 meters deep and have capacity to carry large scale of reclamation. The total investment by the company in all maritime equipment stands at 54 million euros. The dredgers can undertake mega projects at ports and harbors, reservoirs and dams, reclamation of land from sea, environmental and climate change mitigation works, and flood control relief.
You're also watching Newsbeat here on Metro TV. Let's take a breather. We'll be back shortly.
Welcome back. Up next, we're bringing you the latest in sports. Let's focus on Ghana footballer and focus on the kayak league leaders. We're talking about Kotoko. They failed to shine over the weekend against Chelsea, and their manager, Prosper Natiogum, says that the fans must still rally behind the team.
I think the players need to gather the courage to be able to play in such situations. They need to be very confident. You can't play Kotoko and you can't play on your own home grounds. They need to gather that courage and be able to play. And we also need our supporters to be behind us. I mean, it's a league. Sometimes you go up, sometimes you come down. Once we come down, it doesn't mean that's the end. They need to be behind us. This is not the time for them to distance themselves from us. This is the time we need them most. A team needs the supporters most when things are not going well, when we are not getting the results for them. So I will entreat them. I'll plead with the supporters to be behind the team. And there shouldn't be so much blame game as to this person. Once you try to single out so many players, it affects them physically, mentally, and working on them becomes very difficult. So they are the same players that got us to where we are, but they are not finding their rhythm. If you come to training, we train very well. Everybody trains very well, but when we are playing at home, we don't find our rhythm. So they need to be behind us. They need to be behind us. Once they are behind us, I'm sure.
Dr. Prosper Natio Ogum is in charge of Kotoko, but they're wrapping up the sports segment of the news. And I am standing by for the latest in showbiz.
Thank you very much, Johnny. Up next is entertainment news. My name is Nanaya Tanwabachi. Now, to our very first story, dance has always been an integral part of the creative act and gradually gaining ground in the showbiz industry in Ghana recent times. My colleague Desmond Okweku Danso visited Ghanaian dancer Gogo and his team at the dance rehearsal here in Accra and has come through with this report.
Those are some energetic dance moves from a group of young men who have found their passion in dance. For these guys, dance is their life and their source of happiness. They usually meet to rehearse at the Ghetto Studios as part of preparations for their various projects. Gogo is the leader of the group and the originator of the Backcase dance and talks to Metro News about dancing for some of the top musicians in the country, including Stonebwoy, Mona Faru and Mr. Drew.
Instead of seeing people happy, I chose to dance. So dance really means everything to me. Like, dance is what makes me happy. Those personalities were part of my dream in a sense that, hey, bro, just imagine say I did dance plus Stonebwoy. Like, I used to say this from 2017. The first day I performed with Stonebwoy, I went out crying.
He also gave an insight on his latest dance EP, which is the first of its kind in the country.
I'm working on a hard guide EP. I'm the first dancer to do an EP. I thought of it that, oh, let me compare my professional dance videos for it to be out as a dance EP. And the EP is out and I'm still promoting the EP.
Some of the dancers also spoke to Metro News.
Aside God, dance is one of my favorite things that I really spend time on, and then I really work on it to try and improve it and all that. And then dance in Ghana is a little bit like difficult, but then we try our best through like dance videos, dance projects, dance challenges and all that, trying to get there.
Dance is my better half. Dance is part of me.
Now, away from that, Ghanaian Afrobeat artist Kiddy, Jackie, Amare, and music producer Neptunes have bagged nominations at the much-awaited nominees list of Nigeria's 2022 Headies Awards.
The organizers of the 15th edition of the Headies announced the full list of nominees for the 2022 edition of the prestigious Nigerian Music Awards on the official Instagram account. US-based Ghanaian producer Neptunes is in the Best Street Hop Artist category with the song Ameno Amampiano remix featuring Goya Meno. He is in contention for this award with the likes of Bella Shmurda, Mohbad, Naira Marley and Portable. 2022 VGMA Artist of the Year Kiddy and talented singer-songwriter Jacqueline Champon, better known as Jackie, have been nominated in the Best West African Artist of the Year alongside Ghana's Amare, Aya Nakamura from Mali and Nelson Freitas from Cape Verde. The 2022 Headies Awards will take place on September 4th, 2022 at the Cobb Energy Performing Arts Center in Atlanta, Georgia.
And that's all on entertainment. My name is Nanaya Tanwabachi. Annie, over to you.
Nanaya, thank you for that. Now, unusually, let's cross over for the business updates. Now, in the business story, the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Telecommunications, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, has called for intensified education on the e-levy. He has been speaking on how government telecommunications companies are keen on resolving challenges since the rollout of the e-levy.
All cash-ins, even the mobile money operators do not charge any amount. So cash-ins should not attract any amount at all. Then when you are going to cash out, like you have money on your phone, maybe somebody has sent you money, and then you want to cash it out. Cash out also, the only fee is the fee that the mobile money operators will charge you. There is no e-levy on cash out at all. So that one, if any agent tells you that you are doing cash out, there's e-levy on it, it's a lie. He wants to defraud you. You should resist that. But there's also another thing that people are doing. It is, if you want to go and do a cash in, you can only do a cash in onto your own mobile money. So the phone that will do, the agent that will do the cash, collect your cash and do the cashing for you, and your phone should be in the same location. And that one can be determined whether the two phones are in the same location.